All right, so one of the things that you guys will be responsible to know for the exam is this super attractive shark circulatory system head model. So this video is going to tell you the parts of the model so that you can practice them for the test. So ordinarily, the liver would be right here. And so obviously the liver is not in this model. This and this are the posterior cardinal sinus. And you're like, wait, aren't they pretty high up in the shark to be the posterior cardinal sinus? Yes, indeed they are. But they are posterior to the heart, which is the important part here. So these are the posterior cardinal sinus, and you may or may not remember that they are the last bit of the blood return through the kidney. And so the blood will come to the posterior cardinal sinus, and then this corner right here, can you guys see that? This corner right here, this is called the common cardinal vein. So the blood comes posterior cardinal sinus, common cardinal vein, and then into this triangular membrane structure right here called the sinus venosus. Blood also is drained from the liver into the sinus venosus through the hepatic veins. Again, do not get these mixed up with the hepatic portal veins. Finally, if we rotate the model, this is the anterior cardinal sinus, right? And so it goes forward of the heart, and that's why it's called the anterior cardinal sinus. So the anterior cardinal sinus is going to come down and around. It empties into this same corner piece, the common cardinal vein, and then into the sinus venosus. So basically, not basically, in point of fact, all of the blood from every single place in the shark is going to come through different veins back to the sinus venosus. The blood will then come into the atrium and then into the ventricle, which is the pumping part, and then into the conus arteriosus, which is right here, and then into the ventral aorta. And then we have the afferent branchial arteries, and then the blood goes into the gills, is oxygenated through countercurrent exchange. The blood comes out of the gills through the efferent, E for exit, branchial arteries, and then down into the dorsal aorta. So one thing that I have just realized that I forgot to tell you about on the actual shark is the coronary arteries. And so if you look, right, the ventricle, I don't know if you guys can see this, just pretend like you can. The ventricle has all of these little red, so red or pink is going to be the arteries. And so the ventricle has arteries. And if you think about it, of course it does, because it has to be pumping. And so it's a muscle. It needs lots and lots and lots of oxygen to do the aerobic respiration, to make the ATP, to make the muscle work. And so the ventricle requires its own arterial blood supply, and that is the coronary arteries, which are going to actually come directly over from the gills. So do not forget those. But you will need to be able to label all of the different parts of this circulatory system model for the exam.